Netflix keeps picking up the properties to make these series with, and one that they're talking about doing, surprisingly, and I'm not really feeling this necessarily, is Legend of Zelda. They've come out and described it as, a Game of Thrones, but for family. But I don't think that means shit. I think that's just that's a way of saying swords and sorcery for family.
They could have said probably more or less like
Lord of the Rings. And that's the thing. They're just using a more current reference. Because I don't think it's at all going to be anything like a Game of Thrones or necessarily.
I can see them having to expand the characters in the universe and having some intrigue in order to keep it interesting. In order to have a story versus Link marching into dungeons every week. That's not what it's going to be.
But here's my problem with it. I just don't think it should have been done in the first place. I'm not a big Zelda... it's not that I'm not a big Zelda fan. I like Zelda. I just don't like it as much as everyone else. But I do look at it, and I wonder... a big part of Zelda is... Link is called Link for a reason. He is your Link. He does not speak. The second they start giving him a voice and a personality in a TV show, they are taking great risks, and they are going to piss off a shitload of people.
Sure.
And, I mean, I fantasized for, 5 minutes about how interesting it would be to do a series with a silent protagonist. But... I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, I mean,
and I unless it's a mini series, I don't think they're going to do it with a silent protagonist. And I'm sorry, I think you're going to, and I could be wrong. Bigger Zelda fans will tell me. I think you're going to lose a lot of people the moment he opens his mouth.
I'm not sure about that. I think the curiosity alone will get people there, and I think one of the reasons I did this, Netflix has to attract people because now you're dealing with Amazon Prime as well. And these series are now drawing people to subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix is now, it's a production company, not just a streaming service. It's amazing. Netflix is an amazing story that you can get into, just the rise of the company over the past only 12, 13 years. Mm-hmm. How it's meteoric now. And now when you say Netflix, it's as big as NBC or whatever. But supposedly they're trying to set up shop and start in Japan, Netflix. And this would be a huge draw, obviously, in Japan to get people that... it's not like here where there's a huge built-in Netflix audience. Now you have our generation, a generation especially coming after, the Gen Ys or millennials, they don't have cable TV anymore. They have Netflix. So in Japan, they're not there yet. This is a way to sort of kickstart that movement to get their maybe young people.
I did not know that this was coinciding with an interest in moving into Japan. So sure. I mean that makes a lot more sense now.
What's interesting though is that Nintendo's willing to try this at all. To me. Obviously, there's going to be tons of money thrown at them. They're probably going to co-produce in some aspect. Obviously, they're going to get tons of cash from this. Now, in terms of people being pissed off that the character can't speak, I think you can go about it in a few ways. I think you can do it, or you do him sort of like the Man with No Name, where he's a badass, and when he does speak, it's just for the necessary things he says. Eastwood character, where it's no exposition, it's just responses. And badass stuff, and there's a way to do it and minimize. Obviously, he's going to have to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he goes, or if you have him speak regularly, I'm not going to say they're going to go a cartoon route or have him be a sniveling, whiny brat. But there's a way to do this.
I really don't think there is. What you described the first way, responses when necessary, not a whole lot of character-driven responses, but yes, no, fuck off.
Yeah, badass responses to killing Octoroks or something.
Double cheeseburger.
Yeah. Don't remember that in a Zelda game, but
at the menu window. I'm sorry, rack of meat. I really, really don't think they can do this with full dialogue, and have it go anywhere.
I think you're gonna. Here's the thing: when you play a video game, it's always your interpretation of what it is. That's the only medium where you interpret it. And because it's interactive, so you interpret what it is, and so people are going to be cheesed off no matter what. They're still trying to do a Halo movie for years.
Yeah, but
they're still trying to do a BioShock movie, and people are saying, well, you can't really translate the nuances, and you can't translate the tone, and you can say the same thing to some aspects about a book. You can get the message across though. What are you doing?
Polishing the top and stroking off. Those characters at least have personalities.
So Link doesn't have personality,
No, he's supposed to be you. I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, but he doesn't speak. No, he doesn't. He does not have a formed personality other than what you are interpreting it. Now, yes, you can interpret Master Chief, or you can interpret a character from BioShock in a different way, but there's enough context around there, if not actual dialogue, that you can extrapolate that to a TV show.
I think if this is for family and children, they're not going to care that much. They're going to say, "Oh, Nintendo, Zelda. I've played Zelda games. I'll check it out. If I don't like it, I don't like it." But it's not going to be because Link talks. Characters have to talk. Sorry, that's how movies work. That's how a series works. So there's no, again, this is in development. I mean, it never come to light. But I was kind of surprised at this, that Nintendo's going to try to do this, because this will work a lot better than a movie. People are like, "Oh, it's a Legend of Zelda movie." They had that CG movie they were thinking about a few years back where they leaked the test reels like a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
Why would it work better than a movie?
Because you have a chance to develop relationships, and a video game is not a singular story. For a franchise, it's not like you can tell. Like, a video game would not work as, okay, if The Legend of Zelda became a movie, it would be 9 hours long. You couldn't tell that in 90 minutes or 2 hours. You know what I mean? So you have to sort of spread out over a longer arc with mini adventures in between. Here's the adventure where he tries to burn down the forest looking for the secret cave. Here's the part where he does go to the graveyard finally to get the magic sword, versus doing it all in 2 hours. Kind of impossible. That's all I'm saying.
I guess.
So we'll see what happens. We're on different sides of the spectrum here. I have some faith in this. If it happens, we'll see.